Saquon Barkley remains the Eagles' most dangerous weapon heading into 2025. But with new coaches, an extra motivated Jalen Hurts, and some fresh faces behind him, Philadelphia is preparing to unleash Barkley in a whole new way, the likes of which the NFL is just not prepared for. Plus, why this new Eagle is about to be more important than you think, and what Will Shipley did this offseason that has people talking. I'm Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. Philadelphia has a Saquon Barkley problem. And no, that's not a bad thing, it's of course a great thing. Saquon put together one of the most impressive NFL seasons we've ever seen, from surpassing the 2,000-yard regular season mark to absolutely dominating during the NFC playoff run, to actually setting the NFL rushing record for total rushing yards in a regular season and postseason combined. He was of course fantastic, but Philadelphia's big challenge heading into the 2025 season is making sure Barkley stays great, and that's easier said than done. First off, go down the comment section right now, predict Saquon Barkley's stats for 2025. Give me your rushing yard prediction, give me your carry prediction, and touchdown prediction below right now. Of course, ever since the Super Bowl confetti actually fell, one thing has been 100% certain. The Kansas City Chiefs' championship game plan for defending against Barkley was pretty obvious. Load the box and commit everybody to stopping the run, and it technically worked. Barkley had 25 carries versus the Chiefs' defense and only accounted for 57 total rushing yards at 2.3 yards per rush, which is the lowest rushing yard total in a game since Week 6 versus the Cleveland Browns. And 2025 is going to be no different. Every single team Philadelphia faces, especially early on this coming season, is going to load the box and do everything they can to stop Barkley first before worrying about Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and the rest of the Eagles' offense. Which is why the Birds' plan for Barkley in this new offensive system under Kevin Patullo is going to be absolutely crucial. Now, on one hand, the easy answer to combating teams' new approach in 2025 to slowing down Saquon of the Birds' rushing attack is to successfully throw the football through the air. More specifically, convert on play-action passes. Something Brian Baldinger, for instance, detailed was a major success in the Eagles' Super Bowl counter to Spag's defensive game plan.
Bolton, Chanel, all geared to stop Saquon Barkley. So what do? They're going to pull the guard this time. Lane, again, has got a squeeze here, so there's no penetration. Watch the mesh. Watch what the fake to Saquon does to these three linebackers. Look at them all step up. Stop Saquon. That's what they heard for 2 weeks. Stop Saquon. Now you fake it. Watch them. Watch how late they are getting back in any depth. Watch them turn their backs and run, knowing it's a pass now, but it's too late. Now you get the Maginot line up front, the green wall. Look at this. Now Jalen steps on the logo and he fires it to Devontae Smith for a 46-yard touchdown to go up 31-0.
But of course, this is all easier said than done. Like we can say right now, just be more successful throwing the football and force teams to back off the line of scrimmage and defend the Bird receivers, thereby opening up more one-on-one blocking opportunities for the great offensive line and creating holes for Saquon. But actually executing that is going to take a lot more work this offseason, which is something that Jalen Hurts at least echoed a lot this past week during minicamp.
Well, they have to pick their poison, and so it's just a matter of going out there and executing. You know, we got to make sure we're in a good position to go do what we're going to do. And then, you know, when someone gets an opportunity to make something happen, make it happen.
And of course, I've done plenty of segments on improving the Eagles' passing attack, as I think new offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo has told us time and time again this offseason that they want to make sure they're just as lethal throwing the football as they are rushing, which obviously is great for everyone involved, especially Saquon Barkley.
I think it's going to be like, what do our players do best, like it's been? And then from there, we just expand upon it. Hey, we're really good at this. Let's bring this to the table and try this and see where we can take it. And I think really when you look at just our staff as a whole, you know, we've added some new coaches, so they bring some other layers to it too, and then the knowledge of what they have from their background. So I think as we go forward, as we build this thing together as a staff, you know, you'll see some new wrinkles here and there, but more so it's just kind of building on what our players do best.
But the other key factor Philadelphia must prepare for heading into 2025 is managing Saquon Barkley's workload, because the real killer of elite running backs has been workload following their best season ever. Saquon led the league in touches last year by a pretty wide margin. Bijan Robinson, the next closest back, and Derrick Henry, again, had a great year, but fourth behind Barkley in carries. In fact, Saquon had 8 games with over 25 carries during the 2024 season. Derrick Henry, comparatively, had just 3. Historically, there have been 8 running backs in the entire history of the NFL to surpass the 2,000-yard rushing mark in a season. O.J. Simpson, Eric Dickerson, Barry Sanders, Terrell Davis, Jamal Lewis, Chris Johnson, Adrian Peterson, and Derrick Henry. Just one of them eclipsed 1,500 rushing yards the following season, Barry Sanders in 98. Just one of them averaged more than 100 yards per game the following season, Derrick Henry in 2021. And just 2 of these 8 followed up their 2,000-yard breakout season with more than 300 carries. Sanders in 98 again, and Chris Johnson in 2010. They must also defend against this historic drop in production following Saquon Barkley's 2,000-yard season this past year. And it sounds like Saquon Barkley will be the first to tell you that is priority number one inside the Novacare complex.
I have a lot of great running backs I'm able to reach out to. I have a lot of trainers that I work with and mentors that I trust. And, kind of listen to your body, going out there and not going too fast right away, letting your body heal. But the beauty of it is like, I don't know how many touches I had or how many yards, but it doesn't feel like it. I feel really good. I feel like I'm entering in my prime. So just got to continue, have the mindset of listening to everyone, buying into what they want me to do, and whatever they do, try to do it to the best of my ability.
And all of this is where the Eagles' offseason plan, at least for the running game, I think has really started to take shape. Eagles GM Howie Roseman clearly knew he had to do something to protect Barkley following his workload in 2024. And what did he do? Well, he went out and got the best option he could. A big, physical bruiser of a back with big game NFL experience, poised to prove his doubters wrong in AJ Dillon. And although Dillon was probably one of the most least talked about signings of the Eagles' entire offseason, he might turn out to be one of the most important moves in recent Eagle history. AJ, for one, is over 6 foot and weighing in at nearly 247 pounds. He's built to punish people in the hole. He's made a living on contact his entire career. His biggest struggle so far has been staying healthy and actually handling the number one running back role during his time in Green Bay. As Dillon's impressive OTA and minicamp showing was actually his first time back on a football field in over a year following successful neck surgery post-2023 season. Something Dillon emphasized earlier this offseason as having been fully healed and might actually benefit him a little bit more than we realized going into 2025.
Attacking that recovery and getting back, and I'm training down in Florida and feeling great, feeling better than I ever have. And, on the bright side, you got a year off of hits, a year off of getting hit as a running back. I feel nice and loose. I feel good and excited to play.
But now with Barkley clearly number one on the Birds depth chart and number one in the entire league, Dillon had focused on certain packages and situations during the course of a game. As Athlon Sports noted in a recent article, quote, the addition gives Philadelphia's offense another dimension. When defenses gear up to contain Barkley's outside threat and big play capability, Dillon's physicality allows the Eagles to pound the ball inside and control the tempo. His ability to grind out tough yards gives offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo new tactical leverage in short yardage and clock management situations. Dillon is also an excellent pass blocker, something Barkley also has improved on greatly throughout his career, but now can do potentially less of the body-battering pass protection and more of the open field magic hitting holes we come to know and love. Having a completely different type of back to help spell Barkley and provide a changeup from his hyper-athletic rushing type is the curveball the Eagles offense desperately needed. No offense to Kenny Gainwell, he was great, but there were many instances last season where Philly clearly thought, let's just have Barkley do that instead of Gainwell. With Dillon's complete change of pace and change of body outlook, Philly's list of potential ways to use both Barkley and Dillon is one of the main reasons why the latter signed with the Birds.
There's so many ways that the running back can be used and be helpful. I love the way that you can rip off an RPO and you got talent on the outside playing receiver, running back, every single position, tight end, and it really allows everybody to impact the offense, and it really keeps the defense in one of those guessing games. Who's going to make the big play today? Who do we have to try to stop? And I think it's I'm a fan of chess, so I think it's the chess games of football.
And let me just be clear, I'm not advocating for Philadelphia to dramatically cut Saquon Barkley's rushing ability or pass protection or pass catching numbers. I just want them to be more thoughtful, more strategic in making sure that they keep him as healthy as possible going into 2025. And listen, the offense is loaded with talent, not just with Saquon Barkley, but offensive line and on the outside. And Barkley would be the first person to tell you that there are plenty of mouths to feed, and that's not a bad thing.
The thing that gives me confidence is KP's a hell of a coach, and you got AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, Smitty. I can go down the whole offense. Where we're at right now in the playbook, where we're still adjusting, trying to get all those things ironed out. But wherever it looks like, that's what it's going to look like. And the most important thing is winning football games. And if we got to adapt and you got to look a different way, then we're all willing to do that. If you got to look the same way, we're all willing to do that too. So that's the stuff that you build now, and that's stuff you build in camp when you grind with each other. But the most important thing is winning football games. So no one knows how it's going to look, but all we know is that we're going to go out there and do what we can to try to win.
This all, of course, leads me to quickly shout out the other running back on the roster I haven't mentioned yet in Will Shipley, who likewise was reportedly very active during OTAs and minicamp, and another one of these impressive young rookies ready for a big leap forward their sophomore season. I think he too will be in play for snaps to spell Barkley, and honestly, depending on his training performance, could beat out Dillon for RB2. If we saw 2024 as the all-out balls to the wall, 350 carries, 2,000-yard year for the Offensive Player of the Year, 2025 should be the season to pick and choose Barkley's games and spots. Keep using him as efficiently and as much as possible, be mindful of wear and tear, and utilize your new additions. If last season, for instance, Kenny Gainwell had just 75 carries for 290 yards and Will Shipley had 30 carries for 83, maybe this year Dillon and Shipley can combine for, let's say, 150 total carries while Saquon stays healthy and add a dynamic dual force behind Saquon Barkley that leaves defenses guessing week in and week out. Because a healthy, efficient, and explosive Saquon Barkley in 2025 means Philadelphia will continue to have the best home run hitting offense in the entire league. If they have that, combined with an improved passing game as we expect this coming season, they will clearly remain one of the favorites in the NFC, I think the favorites to repeat in the Super Bowl, and one of the best overall offenses in the league.
Just continue to be consistent. He's very consistent, and he stepped in and played a big role for us and added a new dynamic and element to our run game. And I really think that he complements, everything we do very well, and we complement each other well. He's a hell of a player, and so just going out there and continue to be himself. Works really hard, has a great competitive nature to him, and we just want to continue to push that.
And in the end, I do think all roads eventually lead back to Jalen Hurts. Like, Saquon is going to get his, he's going to be great, there's no debating that. But my number one thesis, if you watch this channel the entire offseason, is the push to prove Jalen Hurts and the Birds' passing attack, which, again, isn't bad. They just won a Super Bowl. But just imagine Philadelphia's air attack 10% better than it was last year. Ask yourself this, if that actually becomes true, how in the world are teams going to also stop Saquon Barkley? I don't think they will, which means big plays, more yards, and a huge season for everyone involved. Now, of course, we got plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. On my previous video, I teased an interview with an Eagles player. That is getting pushed to next week, but I have been told it is going to happen. More details on that coming up here pretty darn soon. But our first Eagle player interview, which is going to be pretty darn fun. Drop a like, be sure to subscribe for that. I'm Thomas Mott, hanging out here on a Wednesday. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.